Hi, this is Penn Jillette of Penn and Teller. I'll be answering your questions from Twitter. This is Magic Support. If magicians are not supposed to reveal their secrets, how do you get new magicians? It's a stupid rule. We could not agree more. We've been thrown out of the Magic Circle and the Magic Castle for giving away magic secrets. Giving away magic secrets, or rather not giving away magic secrets, is not a moral rule, it's a compositional rule. And when you're starting out and you're doing a trick for somebody, and afterwards they say, how did you do that? If you tell them, the whole illusion crumbles. It's not a good idea to tell them when you're a beginner. When you become more professional, sometimes giving away a little bit of a secret helps you sell another secret later down the line. And certainly when you're teaching people, like in our master class or our books, you give away secrets. That's the way people learn. It's a stupid rule because it doesn't exist. Let's see what's next. Chris Hastings. How often do Penn and Teller mess up a stage illusion and have to resort to forbidden shadow sorcery to make sure no one notices? You know, the stuff we're doing often pretends to be dangerous. It's often dealing with subjects that are dangerous, and therefore it would be immoral to have something be really dangerous. You should not go to an entertainment expecting someone to get hurt. So because we work with stuff that is apparently dangerous, we have to be very, very careful. So very rarely do things screw up at that kind of monumental level. And when they do, we do not resort to the dark powers. We take our lumps, we take responsibility. We just say, we screwed up. What's next? Kevin Soka. How do magicians eat glass without injuring themselves? That's not a magic trick. It's a geek trick. There are a few things that make it easier in terms of diet and preparation, which I'm not going to tell you because I'm afraid if I explain a little bit about eating glass, someone might try it, and it's a very, very dangerous trick even done properly, so don't try it. What's the etiquette when a magic trick doesn't work? Should I pretend like it worked or should I be honest? It depends on how it doesn't work. A lot of times honesty is a good idea, but if part of it worked, get away with it. And if something accidental happens to happen that makes you look good, well, don't be surprised, just go on. We were doing a seance at Steven Spielberg's bachelor party, and there was this one moment when I had to do a force, which means the spectator thinks they have a free choice, but actually you're forcing a choice upon them. If I wanted you to pick the three of spades, for instance, I could say, just tell me when to stop, you tell me when to stop, and I would say, right about there, okay, you pick the three of spades. Now that's a sleight of hand way to do a force. Now I had a sleight of hand way to do a force of all these pictures we had. And Spielberg decided to just grab a picture and say, this is the one I want. Now that is a major screw up. If I say I'm going to have you pick a card and you just go, give me this one, well, I haven't had time to force it. I'm completely screwed up. But Steven Spielberg happened to pick the picture I was going to force. So I got really, really lucky. And it turned out that that trick was impossible to explain just because he screwed it up. What do we got next? Anthony says, a serious moral question for magicians. When a sick kid asks you, is magic real, do you tell them the truth or lie? That is a serious moral question, it's a serious moral answer. There's no such thing as magic. There's no such thing as a supernatural. And I don't care if it's a sick child or a healthy adult, you do not lie. I never, ever want to leave someone believing that magic is real. That would be morally wrong. Darren Gendron is going to Batu. Question for magicians. When working with a card deck, how many copies of the deck do you like having to work with? I guess it's how many copies of a trick deck would you like having to work with? It's the same question with anything. How many new guitar strings do you want to have around when you're playing guitar seriously? Depends on how quickly they wear out, how roughly you play, and what gauge string you're using. Same thing with a deck of cards, depends on what you're doing. If you're doing simple stuff, you know, it's not going to make any difference. If you're doing heavy duty, Pharaoh shuffles and this kind of stuff, you're going to want a very, very new deck so they all go together very nicely. Question for magicians, will technology eventually render levitation effects trivial? No. You're not going to get levitation out of technology for a really, really long time. That's my prediction. Also, when you do get levitation, you get a very different kind of levitation. It used to be the magicians were on the forefront of technology. Because communication is so good now and everybody knows technology so well, you can no longer sell magic with technology. So even if technology is able to do limited levitations, the lying version, the magic version, I believe will still be interesting, at least for a while, at least for my lifetime, but I'm wicked old. Stephen Blair, there's a name I can pronounce. Stephen Blair, this tweet will only make sense to a few people. Question for magicians, do you file the sides of your deck before using it? This is for real advanced cardistry stuff. For someone like Richard Turner, who is a card wizard, not only does it matter exactly how the sides are sanded or filed, but he also needs to have them printed just right. Now, Richard Turner is blind and does everything by touch, and is exact what we call the work in the deck, slight little bends on the corners that he can feel. The work he does with those are so subtle that his cards have to be absolutely perfect. So after he gets a deck of cards, he does a lot of rubbing on a surface, all the surface, to get all the little burrs off the edges, to be able to do everything right and do all the fanning. And I've never done anything that complicated. I do a palm, I do a pass, I do a few other moves, but I'm not good. So my decks of cards can be pretty much right out of the box. But yeah, when you get into heavy-duty magic with cards or cardistry, you have to have them just perfect. Of course, if you're doing card cheating, you got to work with whatever you get. And how does a magician know if their invisible ink pen is out of ink when they are writing? All I will say there, you misspelled there. Oh, Jesus Christ. Rybray. Where do magicians get those little smoke bombs they throw down to disappear? I'm going to need a couple of those today. It does bring up an interesting point in the old Batman television show. Not the Batman that's all conflicted, but the Adam West Batman of the 60s. They would have villains that would throw down something, poof, and they run away. That's just a movie magic trick. That's not done in the real world. Sometimes smoke is used to obscure stuff, but pretty much it's one of those things that if you can think of it, it won't fool you. And if Rybray can think of this, it's not going to fool anybody. Penny Lane, how does a magician pull a rabbit out of a hat? Who puts it in there? Is it hungry? How does it fit in there? Does it have a girlfriend? I can't sleep until I learn this. Okay, let's take them. Magicians pull a rabbit out of a hat usually by not pulling out of the hat, usually loaded in right before. It's usually in a bag. It's usually hung inside you. It fits in there, usually a body load for, not all the time, usually a body load, and then you would show the hat empty. You'd cop it here, load it in, black bag, open it up, pull it out. The rabbit's in the black bag for maybe 90 seconds. And the rabbit is transferred in maybe 2 seconds. When we used to do that trick, our rabbit would happily run into the bag. It liked that little closed space. Yes, they would have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or any sort of friend they wanted. We would have a little area for the rabbits where they were very comfortable and happy. And Penny Lane, I hope you sleep now. TRMJ, which is the real Mrs. Jeffy, just came across Fool Us with Penn Jillette and Mr. Teller. I'm trying to figure out, how do you even begin to fool them in magic? Well, you know, there are really good magicians. And although Teller and I have over 100 years of magic experience between us, there are people who are really, really clever and really, really smart and really, really well rehearsed, and they fool the living shit out of us. Daniel. So now that I'm an uncle, I should probably learn how to do a magic trick or something, right? Yes, you should. Part of your job as an uncle is to do stupid magic tricks. They don't have to be good. You can take a ball like this. You can say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show you this trick right here. Make it vanish, and your little nephew and niece will just love it. Amanda asks, I need someone to tell me how magicians do the trick where they put phones inside glass bottles. Help me, it's keeping me awake at night. A lot of problems with insomnia on Twitter, as we see with our president. Phone inside the glass bottle, I believe, is a trick that's still being used professionally. I did not develop it. I did not invent it. I believe it's still for sale. I don't think it's within my rights to tell you how that's done, but it's a wicked good trick. Oh, and you're not going to sleep. How does a magician swallow bunches of razor blades without hurting? Felt very, very repulsive. It's a form of sleight of hand. Don't think you can swallow razor blades and be okay. You can't, you will die, don't do it. Jeremy the Sofa King. I've always had a fear of cracking an egg open and having a baby chick pop out like a magician. How do magicians work past that? What? Baby chicks do come out of eggs. That's not magic. That's nature. Oh man, the rubber band up the nose magic trick didn't work. I hit my wrist really, really hard. Sorry, Lobo. How does a magician entertain a magician? With magic. Yeah, magicians love to see magic. It's how does a guitar player entertain another guitar player? By guitar playing. Musicians like music just as much as non-musicians. Magicians like magic more than non-magicians. Our whole show, Fool Us, is all about magicians doing magic for us and trying to fool us, and we love it. Thank everybody on Twitter for your questions. Well, I'm trying to hit one with the lens. There we go. Good.